Hey everyone, Will here from Mature Minded Gamers. Today we're going to be taking a look at Quests and Cannons, The Risen Islands. This one is from Short Hop Games. It is designed by Eric and Shannon Geller. It is a 1 to 6 player game, 14 and up, plays in around 20 minutes per player. It's a pick up and deliver game with boats and quests and missions and a whole bunch of chaos, but at the same time, it is a very simplistic game that is a ton of fun to play. So let's take a look at how the game works. We'll be right back with our thoughts. Alright, so setup for Quests and Cannons is actually quite simple. You're going to be taking these puzzle pieces and arranging them out around the board. Then you're going to be taking these 3 hex tile pieces, arranging them in specific arrangements depending on the number of players. That way the game is a more symmetrical experience. We did try to play it with loading these up in random positions. It made for a very crazy fun game. I would definitely say even that's a good way to play it too. But for your first couple of adventures, I would definitely say lay it out in this order because it makes it more of a symmetrical pattern here. So on your turn, you're going to be able to take one of 3 actions. First of all, you're going to take your ship and you're going to place it down in one of your 3 starting points. Now, the object of this game is to gain the most prosperity for your particular faction, going all the way up. And once you do that, you will be gaining victorious. So you're going to start your ship off in one of the starting spaces and then set sail. So one of the 3 actions you can take in any one turn is you can move. You can spend 1 action point to move 1 space. And then you can spend sails to move an additional space. And what that really means is on your player ship board here, you're going to be able to flip these over and move an additional space for every single one that you flip over. So for example, on an action here, I'm going to move 1 space. I'm going to flip a sail over, and then I can get over here to the Lotus Gulf. Okay? So each sail can be used once per turn. Sails refresh at the beginning of every one of your turns, so there's no reason not to move them when you need to use them as actions. However, you can do action, action, action being move, move, move. So you could take more than, the same action more than once. When you're on a spot here that has an island, you are going to flip over the exploration token here. Okay. And when you do that, when you stop there, you are going to be able to see that, hey, I have lumber. So when I am the first person to discover a particular island's resource, and this one is, again, lumber, then I am going to gain a most lucrative and much needed money. So that's going to go in my coin section right on my player board here. All right. So once I've done that, then I can actually spend another action to gather. I can spend an action point to gather any number of corresponding resources that can fit in my cargo. Now, what that really means is, for example, I found the lumber. I'm going to be able to, I have 2 slots open right now because I haven't upgraded my storage spots yet, and I can go ahead and gather 2 things of lumber for the 1 action. Well, the problem with that is, what if I need the other space for another type of resource? Not sure yet. Well, what if I just want to go ahead and collect, and then maybe I could take it back to a port and sell it and gain some money? Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. So that's going to stay on this spot. I'm the first to have discovered what this island is. And that was my second action. Okay? So the other things you can do on your turn is you're going to be able to attack. Now, when you attack another player, you're going to notice that I currently have 1 ready cannon to fire. Now, I have 5 cannonballs on my ship, and when there is another player ship in the same space as me, then I can choose to fire that cannon. I can fire that cannon with 1 cannonball. If I had 2 cannons filled in that spot, ready to fire, then I could fire 2 cannonballs. Okay? So then I would roll the dice and see what I get. So I get a total of 4. For every 4 pips that you get, you're going to do 1 damage to your enemy ship. When you would do a damage to an enemy ship, you take these little tokens that have like a hole in the hull of a ship, and you're going to place it over your heart. Now, when you have enough damage to completely blow up your ship sinks, and there are some negative effects, amongst others of you're going to be losing prosperity, you're going to be losing resources, you're going to be losing any gold, losing maybe some upgrades if you have on your ship from loot cards, and losing your map clues. The other player that sinks you is going to be gaining 3 prosperity, and also they are going to be in a much better off position than you were when you sunk. So that's not necessarily a good thing. Then the player that lost their ship is going to go back to the starting space. All right. So as you're exploring around this island, you might think, well, what am I really exploring for? Well, that's the cannons. And let's talk about now what we just talked about, the quests. So for example, on my ship, if I had been here and I had acquired a couple of lumber, this one says, an overhaul for old Bessie, your cannon has been through a lot. The barrel is cracked and the wood is old. It is time to show it some love and get it an overhaul. So the objective is I have to deliver some lumber and some metal, and I have to go either to Wind Shear Retreat, which is this location, or I have to go to Boulder Point Stronghold, which is this location. Rather good options for me. If I'm able to complete this objective, I'm going to gain from my faction 2 prosperity, I'm going to gain a loot card, and I'm going to gain 2 precious gold. Awesome. Very cool. So I definitely want to do that. I want to try to find the metal, though. So I've moved here, I've explored, or I've gathered, and then I'm going to take my second action, and I'm going to move here. Well, I am in a dangerous space. It costs 2 points when you're in a stormy seas. Counts as 2 space. It requires 2 action points or an action point and sail to move into. So then I would flip my last sail over to move into that space. My turn would be complete, having gone as far as I could, and I've done quite a bit so far. The next player would go on their turn, and it would keep coming around to me until it was my turn again. Beginning my turn, I would refresh all my sails, refresh all my cannons, not gaining any more cannon balls, though. I would actually have to purchase those. All right. So then I would choose probably to explore over here, figuring out that this is canvas, which isn't exactly what I'm looking for. But again, when I've explored an area, I'm going to be gaining 8 gold. And I want to continue to explore along. So my second action point is I'm going to get here. Again, revealing this. Again, spice. Gaining another gold. And just going on, so forth and so on, until I find, and these are, again, randomly set out. Let's say I found metal here. I'd get and find metal. I'd gather metal, and then I would take it over to the stronghold. I'd complete this objective, raise my prosperity up, gain a loot card, which this is a one-time spell, Scroll of Tranquil Wind. It's a one-time use. Using your turn, one rival ship of your choice cannot use sails until your next turn. That's actually pretty good. There's also some upgrades that you can acquire for your ship, like this one, for example, Silk Sails. It's a ship equip. You can treat this card as an additional sail. That's actually really, really, really handy. So yeah, there's also the trading post that you can come up to, which you can trade 2 for 1 on resources. You can also buy loot if you have gems, or you can also spend a spice and a coin or 3 coins to gain a map clue. So map clues are some of the things we're going to be looking at. Like this one here, while Adala's Demise, you can spend 1 action point to complete this map clue. Then draw a new map clue. You're going to need prosperity or a loot. So which one's more lucrative? Do I want, more stuff to be able to affect my rival players or upgrade my ship to better protect myself? Or do I want to try to go for that ultimate in victory points? So again, taking this map clue is probably going to be something I want to try to complete. Now, I don't necessarily want to share my mission objectives with any of my other players or my other rivals. So definitely something you want to keep in mind. So another thing that you're going to do, though, I haven't mentioned yet, is when you go to a island space, you're actually going to be drawing a quest, okay? So you always want to try to gain really as much of these quests as possible, because then, as I had maybe found this spice, maybe it was more lucrative of me to have the lumber or, the canvas. Because right here, this one is lumber and canvas. Well, heck, all I've got to do is go to Scrollwood Liberation. Well, that's all the way across the map. It's like, well man, what am I going to do? Do I need to maybe get some canvas or find some wood? Upgrade my ship to gain more cargo spaces? Upgrade my sails so I can swim faster? Upgrade more cannons? The choices are endless, and I love the versatility of what it gives you. What kind of ship do you want to have? And I think it is really, really, really fun. And I have had an absolute blast with this game. But let's head up and let's talk about my final thoughts. So first off, I just want to start by saying this game is an absolute blast to play. The more players that you have, though, the more fun it gets. While we did have a fun time playing two-player game, I really feel the game shines when you get into 4, 5, or even 6 players going around, boats everywhere, cannons firing, just stuff happening, people trying to vie for the best pass, completing their quests. It's a lot of fun to play. Now, I'm not always and typically a fan, I'm not typically a fan of pick up and deliver games. I think Zaya is probably one of my favorite games that has the pick up and deliver mechanism as an option. Well, this one definitely has the same kind of feel where you're going around, you got to find the different resources where they are, and then also pick up quests and do different actions. The how condensed the board is really makes the game a lot of fun, in my opinion, to really get behind. Because you may flip a quest that the island you need to get to is on the other side of the map, and then there's 4 or 5 boats in the way. It's like, oh man, am I going to be able to get through here quick enough and survive to be able to get all the way over to the other port and turn my quests in, get my victory points. At the same time, do I have enough cannons aboard my ship to be able to defend myself or even go after and attack somebody else who's a little bit weakened? So there's a lot of options and versatility in this game. Some of the downsides that I felt, I got to say, again, the lower player counts is really the biggest thing. There's really not so much player interaction with the lower player counts, even with the different map setups. And that's another thing that I found, that there's the map setups that they recommend in the book. I kind of would think that just throwing out tiles would be a blast to play it that way too. Or, having some sort of random element. I did feel it was a little bit miss. I would have loved to see some sort of like big creature coming out, like a kraken in an event, or, some creature you're going to fight. I thought that was kind of missing, that I would have liked to have seen. Maybe some big monster that's going to spawn out and destroy your ship, or, you've got to navigate away, or some sort of, maybe not a kraken, but some shark attack or something. I kind of wish it would have had a little bit more of that with this kind of like fantastical feel that we get with the different creatures. Now, the factions themselves, the bunnies, the pigs, and then the birds, those are fine, it really almost like drives itself to be a 3-player game. But, and I even say that as far as like even going with a 4-player, 6-player game, it has the team element. You can do, the team mode, but we had a blast, just a free for all. Everyone for themselves is trying to have the most victory points. It was a little tricky to kind of finagle that, but we got it working, and we had the most fun with that. The team game was good. It was, hey, I'm going to move over here, kind of try to block this guy. You get over there and try to get us the victory points, complete these quests, and it had a lot of strategy in that aspect. I just wish there was a little bit more of a random elements of things that can happen. Because you got the troubled waters, you got the different, like the spaces and things. You've got the treacherous seas, the little red tiles. I'll show you the card here in a second, but I wanted to see just a little bit more gravitas on what we were looking at with the map, and then the elements of things that could happen. Like I said, it's a very fun game. It's more of the how are you going to position yourself and outwit your opponent as far as like, what are you carrying, what quests are you trying to do. Once you reveal the different as far as like what is resources are on the different islands and everything, it tends to, like I said, it plays pretty quickly. The 20-minute per player is no joke. I absolutely love what they've done. I just feel like I want to see just a little bit more. Just a little bit more as far as like things that happen, just random events, different, maybe a creature that comes out, or at the end of every round you draw an event card and everyone's affected by it. That could be really awesome. The components oh my gosh, even in this prototype form, if these are what the components are going to be with like the cardboard, like, or not cardboard, but the actual board, the wood boards, as far as like for the ships, they're a little big, but I mean, they definitely do what they need to do. All the pieces, the quality of the pieces and everything, the actual card stock, I'd like to see a linen finish on that. But like I said, this isn't a review for the components of the game itself, just more of like how the game works. And if you like pick up and deliver games, I really think this is going to be a great choice for your group, especially if you like, sailing the high seas and are looking for a fun, family-friendly adventure. A great choice and one recommended that you definitely check out when it launches, hopefully soon, on the Kickstarter or whatever they do. So be sure to check out all of their awesome stuff, short hop games. Keep it going. I think you've got a winner here. Again, just add that little bit more. So anyway, this has been Will from Mature Minded Gamers, and I hope everyone stay safe and take care. Bye-bye.